NFL Week 1. What the hell do people do in August, anyways? It was the most boring month of the year. Week 1 was awesome. A couple overtime games. And this is the first video. So let's do it. Bengals Super Bowl hangover. True or false? Well, Joe Burrow probably played the worst game of his life. So we do have to factor that in. And they did come back. And I think that really showed why I don't think this is going to be a Bengals Super Bowl hangover year because they have Burrow, they have Chase. Um, when they made the playoff run, the kicking game was on point. That was not the case this week at all. Um, but if they have Burrow, they can come back, especially with Chase. And I do think that Steelers team is a bad matchup when TJ Watt is playing, and unfortunately, looks like he tore his pec. I would guess he's out for the season with that kind of injury. Um, but with Watt and Hayward on the edge, the Bengals O line still not as good as they would hope. But I don't think this would be a bad season for the Bengals. I think it was more of a bad matchup. Um, 49ers Bears. How long until we see Jimmy G? 49ers, Bears upset the 49ers. Neither team looked good. It was a disgusting rainy day in Chicago. The Bears did just enough, and Trey Lance couldn't move the ball through the air. Now, some of that was the rain. It was coming down pretty hard. But the 49ers looked like they came in, they had a plan to run the ball, and that was it. What are they going to do when they fall behind in any other game the rest of the season? And that's why I kind of like them keeping Jimmy G around. They can salvage this season if Trey Lance isn't the guy. It doesn't look like he is so far, at least. But they have Jimmy they can turn to if they need to. So it'd be interesting. I mean, I think by week 4, week 5, we could be seeing Jimmy G. So 49ers might be in a little bit of trouble. Anyways, Lions barely lost in a close game to the Eagles. Are the Lions good? Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I think they're solid. Once Dan Campbell took over the offense last season, they turned around things quite a bit. I think the offense is solid. The defense not so good, although that Eagles offense I think is pretty good. Um, but Jared Goff threw that pick six. That really was the difference in the game. If the Lions can limit their mistakes, I think they're going to be in the wild card playoff hunt. Feisty Lions team. And then we had the Falcons and Saints. Another close game. The Saints won by 1. And my question is, why didn't I draft Cordell Patterson in fantasy? Um, why? Why were people down on him again? He had an amazing game. He had 22 carries for 120 yards and a touchdown. The Falcons looked pretty good. They were obviously moving the ball on the ground just fine. Um, the Saints also look solid. I don't think either team are going to be at the bottom of the barrel. Saints especially look good because Mike Thomas is back. Another fantasy guy that if he's playing, he should be one of the best wide receivers. Why didn't I draft him again? But I'm glad I didn't draft Kamara. Basically, my entire takeaway from this game was all fantasy. Why did people get Kamara right? I guess I didn't know why he was so low on draft boards, but I'm glad he was. But Mike Thomas was lower than I thought he should be, and Cordell Patterson was low. I don't know. Who are these fantasy experts? What do they know? Um, the Patriots lost uh, pretty solidly to the Dolphins. Um, are the Patriots the worst team in the NFL? They lost 20-7. It was never really close. The Dolphins were well in control the entire way. Um, the Dolphins could just be that good, and maybe they're onto something. They built this team around speed. Seems like maybe they're just going to be way faster than everyone, and no one can stop them. Um, Tua had a good game, 23 of 33, 270 yards, a touchdown. Waddle had a big catch. Tyreek Hill looked, like an all-pro level wide receiver. That's who they got. The Patriots were a mess in the offseason, in the preseason, and that carried over into game one. I took like all the Patriots under win total bets, and feeling good about that. Anyways, so those are the games I'm going to cover, but just had some other big questions. Who is the worst team in the NFL? We are just talking about that. Thought at the end of the first half of games, Bears and Jaguars were going to be two of the worst teams in the league. Then they turned it around in the second half. Jaguars barely lost. Bears ended up winning. I still don't think those teams are very good, but good argument for the Patriots, unless, you know, as long as the Jets are starting Joe Flacco, they might be the worst team in the league. And yeah, that'll lead in to my next question. But Houston, the Falcons, and Lions all looked solid. Uh, anyways, we'll think about that later. And so, who's the worst? Who is the worst quarterback in the league? I guess Joe Flacco is right now, but he's not going to be the starter the whole season. So who's worse between these? Jacoby Brissett, Mitch Trubisky, or Trey Lance? And I don't know. Um, Brissett wasn't good. The Browns still managed to win. Of course, they could run the ball. They'll be able to do that. Brissett missed some wide open throws. Mitch Trubisky, the Steelers barely won with 5 turnovers. They couldn't really move the ball on offense though. And the 49ers, same story. Um, could be Jimmy G's team in 4 weeks. So I don't know. I'm just asking a question. Who knows? Geno Smith hasn't played yet, but I do like him. I don't think he's going to be one of the worst. Anyways, yeah, that's well, we didn't get to every game, so I'll just run it down real quick. Saints beat the Falcons 27-26. Bears beat the 49ers 19-10. Steelers beat the Bengals in OT. Eagles beat the Lions by 3. The Lions came back. Dolphins held winner with Patriots. Ravens easily handled the Jets. Washington and beat the Jaguars in a back and forth game. That was an exciting one. Commanders looked decent, not great, but decent. Browns beat the Panthers. Colts and Texans tied. I guess that breaks the Colts opening game losing streak. They had lost 8 in a row, but they tied. So I guess congrats to the Colts for that. Titans blew it against the Giants. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, Titans don't look great this year. Going to be a down year for them, honestly. And Giants might be decent. Saquon Barkley looked great. 18 carries, 164 yards, and a touchdown. Vikings looked awesome against the Packers. Super high in the Vikings. I think they win the division this year. They looked awesome in week 1. Chiefs looked awesome against the Cardinals. They look like Super Bowl favorites. Chargers beat the Raiders in a close one. Chargers were mostly in control of that game. I think Chargers probably the wild card team in that division. And right now, Tampa Bay probably going to give it to the Cowboys. Cowboys without They need some offensive line help. Jason Peters, 40 years old, I think he is that's going to be tough for them. And then we got Monday night to look forward to, Seahawks Broncos. Anyways, if this was interesting, like, subscribe. I don't know. I'll probably never do it again. All right, later.